Hey everybody, this is Javier, this is Planet Texas. I have Steven Allen with me. What's going on, Steven?
What's going on? I'm good. I am the host of Never Refusing Dreams.
So what do you got going on now? Before you were what? Looking for toys at Target and so forth?
Yeah, man. I just went on a run to Walmart and branched out to searching Walmart for a nice selection of Jurassic World figures and just hit big on some ones that I was just looking for the other day. So yeah, that was cool. So like I said, just branching out now, giving Target a break.
Giving that Target a rest?
Well, I mean, I think I mentioned it on the last episode we recorded. Like between the two, they have different shit. You know what I mean? So like Target will have its exclusives and its certain figures, but then like Walmart will have its certain shit. So it's like a lot of the shit that I've been getting, a lot of the shit that people have been wanting comes from Target. But like now they went out to Walmart and found a whole bunch of shit that I was looking for. So I mean, it's kind of the way the game goes when it comes to this collecting shit. Amazon's good for shit too, but Amazon gets on my nerves at times.
That's good. You know, today is starting the part of the new season for this year. And I've been watching WWE. I've been watching pro wrestling. I've been keeping up with the Bloodline. That has to be one of the best storylines that's been going on recently. Of maybe even like one of the best stories of all time.
I don't know about all the time. I would say in the last 5 to 10 years, I would say it's their best going storyline. But I would say it had to go on a little bit longer for it to go all the time.
I think it is going to go on a little bit longer. I think it's going to go all the way until next WrestleMania when he has to fight The Rock.
I'm giving up on that vote. I don't really think it's necessary at this point.
You know, I'm not giving up on that vote yet. Like, I think we're witnessing something special with Roman Reigns. Can you imagine where the WWE without Roman Reigns in the Bloodline storyline right now?
I mean, I can see it. I mean, it's gotta. He's gonna take a break at some point. I mean, even with his limited schedule now, once this whole thing is over with, he's gonna disappear for a cool while. So I think they'll do all right without the Bloodline whenever they get to it. I don't think they're quite there yet. But let's get there.
I mean, I think everybody's making it seem like it's coming to an end, but I'm thinking it's really not. I'm thinking it's gonna be Roman Reigns versus the Bloodline, and I think that'll be sitting for the next couple of months. It's gonna eat up a lot of time.
I mean, I feel like it could run. Honestly, I feel like it could run the rest of this year into WrestleMania, and then it's like, what else is there left for them to do? I mean, unless you bring in various other members of the family, but I mean, you know, there's. Let's see. I'm trying to think.
Well, you know, there's talks of bringing in the father of the Usos, the Rikishi.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, but he's not gonna wrestle. I mean, you bring him in, and he would advance storyline. There's Jacob Fatu, who wrestles for Major League Wrestling and wrestled on the Indies out here. That's how I got to see him, and he's one of the many members of the Fatu bloodline running around. So I mean, it's people that you can bring in wrestling wise. It's people that you can bring in just to talk and just push story. But like eventually, this has to come to an end. Like this is it. If they want to capitalize on, like we said, their best storyline in the year, it's got to come to an end at some point because it can't go on ever.
Well, I was sitting there thinking of like, how is the storyline going to end? And I was thinking of a couple of different ways the story could end, because you could have had Sami Zayn win in Toronto amongst his his family, his hometown. They built it up. Like, did you watch that pay-per-view?
Yeah.
Like, that was an amazing pop that they gave Sami Zayn. Like, people are still even talking about it now.
Yeah, but how many times do you want to do that? Like, that's my thing with wrestling now is the tropes. Like, it gets old. The underdog storyline to me is so played out now. After Daniel Bryan did it at WrestleMania 30, it's like you can't keep doing it. Like, the same thing with Cody Rhodes. Everybody wanted Cody Rhodes to come back. They wanted him to win the Royal Rumble, and they wanted him to defeat Roman. I would have been okay with that. But at the same time, it's like, how many times are we going to keep going it over and over and over and over? You know what I'm saying? Like, it just...
Like, if Cody wasn't going over at WrestleMania, I don't want Cody to go over, period. Like, I don't.
But, I mean, ultimately it worked out for him because now he's scheduled, now he's linked up with Brock, and he's going to go over at SummerSlam, and that's how you do it. Because if you're just running me and you get to win, and you get to throwing W's this way, then the shit gets old, and then it's just like, then he loses, and then what do you do? You know what I'm saying? Like, so if you're playing out in the first 6 months of him being back, then it just kind of limits what you can do down the line. He's gonna get his moment, but I just think that nobody is touching Roman right now as far as merchandise goes, money goes. Like, that's what I'm starting to understand about wrestling now, is that a lot of people's favorites are, or favorite wrestler is, 9 times out of 10, they're not a moneymaker. That's why they're not champion. That's why they're not where Roman is at. And there's only so many people who are even in his ballpark. And at this point, because WWE hasn't created that many individuals to be in his ballpark, that's why you stuck with him being.
Well, I feel like having Roman Reigns is really not a bad thing as champion. I'm really surprised we don't see him more on TV, like outside of the WWE.
I would say that about a lot of wrestlers, because that was something that made wrestling what it was the ability for them to cross over and to do more movies. Like, Seth Rollins is going to be in Captain America. He's probably not going to be a big part of the next Captain America movie, but that was a common thing for Hogan and all the cats to be on TV and do movies. And I think now with society and social media being where it's at now, even then, you don't really even see them do much crossover with much of anything. So it's weird now, because it feels like they just in a boat. Like,
yeah. I was really wanting to sit there and see potentially anybody. Like, who is actually out there that could probably dethrone Roman Reigns realistically right now?
in the WWE.
In the WWE, not in AEW or New Japan or MLW or AAA or CMLL and TNA and blah, 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 blah. But in the WWE.
I mean, I really only feel like it's 3 people. 3 legit people. Randy Orton, Bobby Lashley, or Finn Balor.
Is that who you think? I want to give you 3, and then I want to give you potentially 3. Like, down the road could dethrone Roman Reigns. So which ones do you want first? Either. All right, I'm going to give you the actual 3 that I feel like can dethrone Roman Reigns. I think Walter, he goes by, what's his name now? Huh? Gunther. He goes by Gunther now, but he'll always be Walter to me. He will always be Walter. That'll be my number 1. But somehow they need to make it to where he goes in as the Intercontinental Champion, and you could see some kind of like champion versus champion That would be like the first sign. You know, they want Cody Rhodes, but I don't really want Cody Rhodes anymore. And I'll give you Montel Ford. I think Montel Ford will be like one of my dark horses to dethrone Roman Reigns.
I feel like the only way the last one to happen is if he won Money in the Bank, because it'll have to be one of them catch Roman after the main event type moments for that to work. Would it work? I feel like it would, but I still feel like he needs some development.
He does.
Like he needs some time. Gunther, I feel like he could work, because at this point, he's getting to the point where how much more can you really do with the Intercontinental Championship, and that's always a build up to every couple of years kind of fades and comes back into notoriety. So I feel like could he do it? Yeah. Would I give it a little bit more time? Like if you made the next WrestleMania them two, I wouldn't have a problem with it. But if you try to do it in the next 3 to 6 months, no. I still feel like it's not there yet. To bring up Cody again, I feel like, honestly, if you were gonna bring back the World Heavyweight Championship, I feel like I would have put it on Cody first before putting it on Seth Rollins, even though I feel like Seth Rollins was the best pick for that belt. I feel like Cody, if they wouldn't have been trying to put him in the same breath as Roman, I would have did it that way. Because you still put the World Championship on him. But at the same time, and you keep the possibility of him and Roman likely, but you just don't do it as fast as they did it. I feel like they did that too fast, especially if they wasn't going to execute on Cody winning, then you should have saved that. Like, you could have started that now or at SummerSlam and then played that into the rest of the year. Like, I really feel like they went wrong with all of that, honestly. He shouldn't have won the Royal Rumble. If he wasn't going to be Roman, he shouldn't have been put in that position, because it was just a waste.
I mean, I feel like everybody had like unrealistic expectations on Cody Rhodes when he wrestled Seth Rollins in Hell in a Cell. Like, all of a sudden...
I feel like that's because that's where the fandom is. People are impatient and they don't want development and they don't want storyline, but then they get bored with shit when they get what they want. Like, oh, we want Cody to be Roman.
Yeah. Well, I'm just saying, like, the Hell in a Cell match, when you get to see his torn tricep, that's what it was, right? Yeah, that looked brutal, and that happened a year and a half ago, and people are still somewhat talking about it, and watching that match over and over and over again.
You know, I mean, it's not like you don't see people getting hurt, but you don't really see that. Anytime you don't see that, and you don't see them make it all the way through a match doing some shit like that. But yeah, it definitely showed. Like I said, it showed what ballpark he's in, but I feel like they just I think they were trying to execute off the name, and to me, it was just a waste, because you could have still gave him a good moment. Like, it would have been the same thing with Sammy, if Sammy would have won, which ultimately a lot of people feel like it was the same thing, because it was like, if there's not that many people on your hands and your feet that you can really count this break right now. Like, most of the names that we name could they do it? Yeah. Would it be plausible? Yeah. Are they ready for it? Like I said, I feel like the only person on my list that's ready for it is Bobby Lashley. Because he's been WWE champion before, and he's pretty much...
I mean, Bobby Lashley's on my radar, but honestly, since they've done the merger with the UFC company, I would rather really see Bobby Lashley in like a octagon at least once.
I don't think that Burt, I don't, I have to take it back because anything is possible. But I just don't see that Burt being that entry. Like, I don't really see them ever really crossing it over. Like, you might have Conor McGregor or something in front row at a show or some shit like that. But I don't really see them ever crossing the story, crossing the two over because a lot of fans, for the most part, have been like, oh, I like one over the other. I like MMA or I prefer UFC. It's real, wrestling is. Even Ronda Rousey talked to that same shit. She still carries her same energy now when she call wrestling fake, even though she's getting a check from professional wrestling. So it's like, it's a stigma between the two. It's spoken, it's preached between each other. Like, most people don't maybe realize it. Like, yeah, I don't really see the two mixing that well, unless they just really did it one off. But I don't really see it mixing all that well. Unless it's Brock and Wall. But I don't really see Brock fighting again. If they did something to like commemorate him being, WWE, UFC champion, and okay, like I just don't see them doing too much where it's gonna really overlap. Like, there's moments, there's situations, but I just don't really see it.
I mean, like, they've had moments in pro wrestling to mix with actually mixed martial arts, which is like, I remember Bellator, when Bobby Lashley was in TNA, he was their heavyweight champion.
Right. Yeah, I remember that. But it's just like now, like I said, like I know Conor McGregor was talking about something, if you could do something like that with like a WrestleMania or like a SummerSlam or something like that, you would get him to wrestle multiple matches, you know what I'm saying? You might get him to wrestle one match. And it might not even be all in three. And does he really want to? Yeah, the money would be cool, the pay would be nice, you know what I'm saying? It would just very well probably fight somebody in the octagon and wrestling lose it. I don't know, you know what I'm saying? Like, them one-off moments on Raw where somebody talks, somebody gets punched in the mouth, I'm all up for that. How can you get them moments? You really want to?
Yeah, and then I got these three who I feel like could down the road be able to dethrone Roman Reigns. I have Braun Breaker as my number one. How do you feel about Braun Breaker defeating Roman Reigns?
He in the same spot on my list.
You think he could beat him? You think he's on your list?
I think down the line, if you play the story, it just depends on how you play the narrative. Like, if you play on second generation or second or how Roman Reigns third or fourth generation shit. But if you went on like a bloodline kind of beginning storyline, then yeah, maybe you could. If he brought his pops in, and all that other different little shit, then you could do it. I can see him being like, again, that's a creating a star. Like, he's obviously gifted. I like him. I think he's has the potential, but yeah, that's one of them. Would I do it at the next WrestleMania? No. But I mean, again, would I do it? Yeah. I just wouldn't do it yet. Like, because he don't have the mic skills. He got everything but the mic skills. Like, him versus Roman in a promo, because again, see, that's what I'm saying. Like, you have to be able to, and Roman wasn't always great with promos, but I feel like this tribal chief shit is his best work on the mic. So anybody that's ready now has to be able to do that, because when he is on TV, what is he on TV? He's on TV to talk. So you're gonna have to cut promos. That's why him and Cody did very well, because Cody is somebody who can kind of fuck the promo. So it's like most of the most of the names that people suggest now and throw up now, because that's their favorite, not seeing they can't hang with. And that's understatement, because a lot of people can hang with Roman 5 years ago.
I feel like if they were to do something like that, they would definitely have to bring in Scott Steiner. And Scott Steiner could definitely talk for Braun Breaker. And you can even have Scott Steiner Heyman promo, which I don't know if that would be good or bad, but that certainly would be something.
I mean, if Heyman is involved in it in any way, shape, or form, then it's going to be good. It's creatively, he tends to have that type of control in situations where he knows people can't really talk to his shit working properly. Like, I can guarantee that anytime Brock talks for longer than 30 seconds, Heyman has probably had a hand in right now or being somewhere in the room when the shit broke. So, I mean, another way he could go with it, and I feel like it would be a good way to go with it, is if you put him with, or if you get him the Legend Killer, yes, they're Randy Orton had, and you sat him come in and be like, I'm shooting right through the top, and I'm shooting right for, or if you have him come in and blow through a bunch of fucking people, kind of like how Brock did when Brock first came in. Brock blew through Ric Flair, Brock blew through Hogan, Brock blew through Mark Henry, and then beat The Rock at SummerSlam, and I think he had been in WWE 6 months.
Yeah.
He became the youngest WWE champion ever. So if he did something similar to that, where you had him talk less and just blow through motherfuckers, then yeah, I can see it. But yeah, what I put it with his pops, I would put it with his pops, just to, you know what I'm saying, bring it full circle.
I mean, speaking of full circle, now that you brought that word up, I have another one. It's Jey Uso. I believe Jey Uso has it in him to dethrone Roman Reigns.
I think that's only because it's art. I mean, again, the story are put down.
I mean, it's a great story. He was the beginning of the Tribal Chief's first opponent.
Right, that's what I mean. So you could go that way, and that would be the way that I feel like that would be the way to really get it all the way. But I mean, again, is he somebody who would carry that belt, have that belt for another full year to the next WrestleMania? No, he probably end up losing it within 6 months. So it's like, and is he losing it? Who is he losing to? Would that be the time where then you push Cody? But then again, it's like, because then you can turn around and be like, all right, you be a member of the Bloodline, but you couldn't be the Tribal Chief. So then now what do you do? So then now they use that as a narrative, running back between Cody and Roman, because Roman needs to be doing here, but you ain't.
I mean, I feel like, yeah, but I feel like if Jey were to beat Roman, just think of like, everybody would be pleased. Everybody would be happy. And then you have your transitional champion like right in front of you. And it would be the one person that everybody could fall behind and back up.
Yeah, I mean, I can see. I mean,
like I guarantee you, one of the worst fears I'm pretty sure that the WWE has is who's going to take the title from Roman Reigns, and then what's going to happen after that.
I don't think they really figured it though, because at the same time, I don't think they figured because, again, like I said, the way he moving the needle for them, and with the streak that he owned now, I never thought I'd see it in my time. Somebody hold a belt for 1,000 days. Like I remember years ago when I did the research on that shit for a speech that I was writing when I was doing public speaking, and I used San Martino and Flair and Backlund's numbers in that speech, and it blew my mind. Like Hogan, I wouldn't be surprised for him to held the belt as long as he held it back in the day, because as big as his name was. But the other names on the list, I actually had to review. Other than Bruno San Martino, I didn't know who Bob Backlund was. I know who Ric Flair was. So when I went back and I realized that like these guys really in the pro wrestling mindset said back then, was good enough for them to hold these belts years. You know what I'm saying? Consecutive fucking years. Because San Martino had it for 7 years straight. You know what I'm saying? Like, so if there was somebody right now in this generation to do that off of, I feel like Roman is the best one. The only other person is Brock. I never understood why he never did that with Brock. Even though it did feel like that when he had the Universal title because he wasn't around. But again, to make money and to have your title be on a person like that, there's nobody else right now. So if you wanted to just push it all the way, I feel like they could do it. I think they said that he'd have to hold it until 2028 to beat Bruno San Martino's numbers.
He still has like 5 more years.
Yeah, he's about 400. Last time I seen, I know I got it in my phone. The last time I seen, I think he like 420 something odd days off from beating Hogan for third place for third longest, and then after that it's San Martino and it's Bob Backlund he had to beat, and that's both over 2,000 days. But yeah, I think to beat San Martino, you have to hold it until 2027 or 2028. One of them two.
I mean, I think I would be all right if he held the championship for like another year and a half, maybe even 2 years. I think I'll be all right with that, as long as it keep giving like fresh new people.
I feel my thing is I had no problem with it, but you still would need to figure out who. I feel like they didn't really ran out of names for them to run up to you. Because again, like you said, you brought Jey Uso back up. That was the first person who did it back. You know, so like if you start going through the whole list over again, he's faced everybody that's left to face. Like I said, unless you bring back a couple of old heads here and there, which you already know how that would go, there's nobody left. That's why I feel like WWE is at its detriment right now because they don't have such an open door like AEW. Like AEW is about to fucking give us Daniel Bryan and Okada at Forbidden Door. That's the biggest problem that I feel like WWE has right now. It's like if you accomplish something in WWE and you call yourself a wrestler, your accomplishment only matters within the WWE universe. It doesn't really equate to success anywhere else because that's where you didn't be your whole time. Like Roman, for example. Roman has never competed anywhere but in WWE. And I feel like that's what holds his resume up from being a Hogan or a Flair level because them cats got they had other promotions that they wrestled for. Like Hogan went to Japan and wrestled, you know what I'm saying? Flair went to Japan and wrestled. Like this crap now in this generation, unless you did something before you came to WWE, like whatever you accomplished in WWE is pretty much present. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
well, I mean, WWE is like the tippity top of pro wrestling. It's no longer where everybody needs to be, but it's
I wouldn't say that it's the tip top because if you look at the last, I would say if you look at the last 15, 20 years, I still wouldn't consider it tip top. I wouldn't say that AEW is the tip top, but what I would say is that because you look at some of the people who have come to WWE in the last 10 to 15 years, the best example off the top of my head is Sting. Sting came to WWE past his prime. Sting came to WWE at a time where he still could have been something. Granted, Goldberg fucking came to WWE in 2003 and he got a better overall WWE career than fucking Sting. Sting didn't even get to hold the WWE championship and Goldberg got to hold a bunch of WWE championships. So it's like, and you look at Shinsuke Nakamura, you can go down the list of people in the last couple of years that came to WWE after accomplishing something somewhere else, and it ain't just automatically click. You know what I'm saying? Because this is top of the mountain. I mean, shit, Finn Balor is the same thing. Finn Balor was big shit in Japan before he came to WWE. He kind of had a buzz with the Universal Championship if he would have got hurt, but look at where he's at. You know what I'm saying? He didn't have moments. Bray Wyatt. Bray Wyatt is as best as that motherfucker. Bray Wyatt to me is the best character in the last 20 years of WWE. And he ain't never been nowhere else. But you look at his resume, and he has one WWE Championship reign that didn't last that fucking long. And he had what he had going with defeating the Universal Championship, and he let Goldberg beat that. So, is it really the top? Is it really the best place to be? Because I would say that it's not.
I mean, I would say it's debatable. Now at this point, I would say it's debatable. But it's really, the longevity and the legacy is still there.
Is it though? I mean, because people consider the WWE Hall of Fame the cheapest shit. Like, and it's the longest running Hall of Fame. You know, the established promotions like AEW doesn't have one. All of them have Hall of Fame. It's been around long. The TNA has one.
Well, TNA is kind of like the minor league Hall of Fame of the Hall of Fames.
TNA?
Yeah.
No, I would. I mean, if you take the name brand bias off of WWE versus TNA, if you're a true pro wrestling fan, you know the history of TNA. You know the TNA was an offshoot, one of many offshoots of the NWA. The NWA World Heavyweight Championship was and is tied into the lineage of the Impact in the TNA Championship. So you can call it that, but at the end of the day, it's the second best Hall of Fame. I guess you'd want to fucking be in if you were there, a professional wrestler, if you wrestled for one, you know what I'm saying? If you wrestled for TNA at some point in the beginning. But
well, a lot of the champions have wrestled in TNA. A lot of champions.
I mean, but my thing with and I feel like that's the thing with AEW right now. Like a lot of people, you know, talk about ratings and they talk about you still got a company, you still got a promotion that's been around literally 5 years now. So and I was talking about this on my show with my homie from Nerds Talking Wrestling about how it's like Star Wars is a universally recognized name. Spider-Man is a universally recognized superhero name. Batman, Superman, you know what I mean? But if you had in any of them instances something else created now that was in the same breath trying to rival it, more people, of course, are going to know about the more popular recognized name than this new shit that's trying to come up in the same breath. And I feel like that's what people don't take into consideration with AEW is that I say this all the time, if you rocked up on any just random person on the street and you ask them to give you a name of somebody who wrestled in the WWE or let them slide, call it WWS, you're going to hear, and it might not be, you're going to hear The Rock, you're going to hear Stone Cold Steve Austin, you're going to hear maybe The Undertaker, you know what I'm saying? And then you might hear some more B-list and C-list names if you really run up on somebody you pay attention to. But run up on them same people and ask them to name you somebody that's in AEW right now, and where the whole conversation gonna stop is them not recognizing them three alphabets being put together and it being a wrestling. Unless they somebody who again is more than impactful. You get what I'm saying? So that's where AEW is kind of stuck at this point right now where they run it alongside some shit that's been around for over 50 years. Everybody knows what WWE is. Everybody knows what WWF wants. You know, it's people learn what the fuck AEW. So it's like you can compete, like, you know what I mean, but you can't. You know what I mean? And I think that's the reason why I feel like AEW, if you talk about longevity, I feel like they can be around just as long as WWE has been around. But at the same time, you're never gonna be number one. I don't ever see AEW being number one, but I can see them being a better place to go wrestle, a better place to go be a wrestler, because for the reasons that I feel like WWE is just the best place to go. The biggest one is being able to go other places and do other shit and wrestle in other places other than just in an AEW ring. Like, you know what I mean? I just mentioned it before. Brian Daniels is going to wrestle. I mean, it's still going to be an AEW.
It's going to be an AEW event.
What I'm saying.
Yeah.
Right. It's still going to be their event, but if they wanted that event to happen in Japan, or if New Japan wanted to do a show in Japan and have AEW on it, I guarantee that AEW wouldn't turn it down. Meanwhile, WWE would either flat out say, no, we're not doing it, or it'd have to be something where they need to have ultimate control and shit. Everybody, they payroll got to come out looking hot, and that's typical WWE protocol when they do business.
Well, I mean, like, I feel like WWE is somewhat changing. Like, they just had Shinsuke Nakamura and Noah, and he wrestled the Great Muta.
Right. But I mean, you need a lot more of them moments.
Yeah.
Before you really.
I mean, that's one of the exceptions for the WWE, but I feel like that's like one of the first steps to changing into like the new way.
I agree, but I also feel like that's what they used to do back in the day anyway. So it was like what changed, obviously, in Vince's mind, where it's like, I'm not gonna cross my people over with other people's people. I'm just gonna build this pond, and all my people is gonna swim in this pond, and nobody else's people. Because that's where I feel like a lot of people, like I said, Roman's resume is lacking, because he's really faced a whole bunch of people that, yeah, it's easy to say that they're better than him, you know what I'm saying? But he got to go up against some of these other names in these other places right now. Like, Roman got to go up against Okada or Tanahashi, or if he got to go, if the Bloodline got to go down and wrestle in CMLL or Triple A or some of them places where all three of them or four of them would be in the ring at the same time, given where you at, you know what I'm saying? Like, then his resume, I feel like, and then you saying the greatest of all time, like, the WWE loves narrative, and they love to talk about somebody being the greatest of all time when it comes to Daycon. But really, it's testing to me off of everywhere else you can swim. If you can swim somewhere else, you know what I mean? Like, I look at Brock. I know Brock is the greatest WWE creation. I feel like Brock is one of the greatest WWE creations of all time. Why? Because he strictly only got a check from WWE. Now, if he gets a check from Tony Khan and wrestling in AEW, because he kind of got looked at, but he does what I feel like Roman and a lot of other people do, which is, like I say, go prove that it was more than just WWE narrative behind their, you know what I'm saying, their brand and their deal. I.e., Sasha Banks, Mercedes Moné, looking at her now, she's in New Japan, really getting to test her whole shit around, you know what I'm saying, like to really test her resume. Her WWE resume is what it is, but now she's going to get to add to that and have a full wrestler's resume. A lot of them other people in WWE are strictly started in WWE 5 years. They're going to be WWE Hall of Fame bound, but they don't have another accomplishment on their resume that really resonates with real wrestling fans.
And then I got my last one that could possibly beat Roman Reigns, and it's a good one. I don't know. They keep talking about this guy, LA Knight. How do you feel about LA Knight potentially being able to dethrone Roman Reigns? You gotta admit, he has the mic skills. He has a lot of what it takes.
Of the criteria, yeah, he's the fan favorite right now. But again, is he a money maker? Is he gonna sell shirts?
I mean, like he's a throwback from, you can even say, from the Attitude Era.
He has some rockish moments to me. Like I feel like he does have some moments where he has that level of charisma, or shows moments where he has that level of charisma, and people are behind him right now. But like I said, wrestling fans are so fucking fickle. So where it's like they'll be behind somebody, and then once you give them what they primarily want, once something it'll be like, all right, now we on to this next person who we feel like should be next. That's why they give us the game, so we can make whoever it is that we want champions and all that other different shit. But like they're trying to make money. So like if it's like we said before, public opinion, I think that's another reason why, like in my dream of wanting to be a professional wrestler, like I went back and forth over like is it the in-ring part do I really want? Not just because of the pain and injury part of it, but like do everybody dreams of being somebody's champion. But like I don't think we really take into consideration, and you can say the same shit about sports. Like being a champion in any sport is more than just your stats in what you do and all of that. You know what I'm saying? The NBA, the finals is going on right now. Them cats want to be champions. But like being a champion is also being the spokesman, being the face, being the you know what I'm saying, of a team, of a brand, of a company. You know what I'm saying? And even in a fictitious scripted thing like wrestling, like people are like, oh, well, you know, it's whoever they choose. Like, yeah, but they're choosing that person because they believe that that person is marketable enough to be that company's champion, to have a face be on t-shirts, to have a toys be in a Walmart or a Target. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, is LA Knight in professional wrestling a marketable person to not only beat Roman Reigns, you know what I'm saying, but like you said, hold it for 3 to 6 to 5 months after and try to put it on somebody else where they feel like it's marketable. Because if you just go off wrestling ability alone, there's a lot of people that should have been champion or could have defeated Roman Reigns. And you had Cesaro as one of the people who got a chance to go up against Roman and didn't get it done. And he should have had a WWE championship at some point in his time in WWE. He did. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's.
I mean, I just feel like LA Knight is the guy that everybody doesn't see can carry that title and carry it well.
I feel like, but I feel like now, like I said, with the advent of the World Heavyweight Championship being back, I feel like the games like an LA Knight, the games like Montez Ford, I feel like them cats can really get a chance to really test what we talking about before getting to the WWE Championship. Because, you know,